You're here, I'm pleased, I really feel your company. Your style, your smile, your pace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be.
Excuse me, miss. I was in the waiting room when you gave your testimony. And what I realized is that we have an enemy in common. While you were being called to the office again, I was being put out the only home I've ever known. While you were shaking with anxiety and fear over something no one ever wants to hear, I was shaking in dread. Because we all know what happens to little girls that have no home and no one to claim them. I think our souls passed each other by. See, my soul left me a long time ago in a dingy motel room, ripped away by brutal force. It fled, unable to find its way back home.
Historical people, who would you want in your seat and why?
Wow. I guess because I'm different. You know, I'm not really starstruck, and so it would be hard to really pinpoint anybody in particular. First person that just came to my mind, you know, I mean, if I had an opportunity to cut Denzel, you know, I would.
That's a good one.
I'd do that.
That would be a dope conversation.
Exactly.
How important is diversity in your work, considering you grew up in a bilingual, bicultural home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I think at this point, just in society, there's just so much diversity. You know, whether it be in language, whether it be in your upbringing, whether it be in whatever that is. And so I think growing up in a bilingual household as well as really a bicultural, despite the fact that my parents are both of Hispanic descent, but growing up in two different cultures of very traditional values in the home and very different and sometimes similar values, right, outside of the home, but in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And so,
he tests those whom he loves. I pray he continues to love me till my death. I pray he continues testing me and testing me and testing me until I have no questions left. Until I can ingest knowledge and choke on lies and spit out truth with every breath. But you see, until love for what he loves and hate for what he hates is the only thing that's left within my chest. I know that I will constantly fight to love what's right because I was created with a heart that sits slightly to the left. But I'm okay with that. Because I always knew and always know that he knows exactly what is best. You see, he knew that it would only be a matter of time before I would open my eyes and finally realize that I needed to look deep down inside and pull out the divide so that my heart and my mind would collide and learn to work together.
What's going on? What's going on, my good people, social media family? We are back for another powerful, impactful episode of Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People with your host, Willie Beamen. We have an exciting guest to my left on today. I've had a chance to meet her recently at the gala we had. Shout out to author Diana Jones. Also, earlier this year, she was a part of our Black Author event, which was a great success. But without further ado, got to give her an introduction. She is a Chicago native, author and inspirational speaker. She has written and published 6 books, including the 21-Day Gratitude Journal for Busy Women. Definitely want to get into that. She's also been featured in Shout Out DFW and Voyage Dallas magazines. She's also made a guest appearance on the Hello Mansfield Media TV show. And last but not least, she is also the wife of the pastor of C.R. Smith of Thy Word Missionary Baptist Church in Fort Worth, with 3 bonus children and a grandson. Y'all give
Yes.
a warm welcome to Miss Yolanda Wilson Smith.
Hello, 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 hello. I'm so excited to be on this show today. Thank you, Willie.
No problem. How you been? What's going on in your world?
A lot.
A lot.
Like you said, we had the DFW
Bag
Bag Award
yes,
Gala on
yes.
Saturday. And wasn't that a wonderful event?
Yes,
Oh my
yes, it
God,
was
that
great.
was great.
Yeah.
I was just so honored to be among the honorees who received the award
Right.
For my book,
Right.
the literary award. So that was great. Had a great time. It was great seeing you.
Yeah.
And some other people I hadn't seen in a while. So it was wonderful.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I want to go and kick it off. I always like to kick off the show, allowing people to kind of share their upbringing, who they are, you know, and what they've encountered. So for you, you mentioned off the set that you're originally from Chicago.
Yes.
And so what are some of your earliest memories of living in the city of Chicago?
So some of my earlier memories of living in Chicago, I come from a 2-parent household.
Okay.
It was me, my mom, me, my mom, my dad, my sister. So growing up, just very close knit family, you know. And I grew up back in the day that you hung around your relatives. Saturday night, they went out playing cards. And the cousins, everybody getting together, want to stay up all night. That's the only night you can stay up all night and not get in trouble, because they were so busy playing cards.
Exactly.
So I think just having a good had a great childhood. My dad, he did die when I was 13.
Yeah.
So that was kind of hard, because it's kind of hard not seeing your your dad, seeing you graduate from like 8th grade. In Chicago, we have we have 8th grade graduations.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know here's a little bit different.
Yeah.
8th grade graduation, high school, college, seeing you getting married. So those things are, kind of hard, that I feel like, that I wish my dad, was there for.
Gotcha.
And my sister, she died after giving 2 months after having my nephew. She had a rare blood disease.
Wow.
So she died after having my nephew. So with that in mind, it has me to live life more intentionally, and have me to really, celebrate life. So I look at life through a different lens.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I look at life through a different lens just because of that.
Yeah.
And I like to celebrate every milestone of my birthday just because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So after your father passed, did you have another male figure come fill that void to help carry you through?
Well, it came through in terms of mentors, teachers, and a result of that too, because I'm an introvert.
It don't seem like it to me.
I'm a very much introvert. So with that, I did suffer with like low self-esteem, low confidence, just because sometimes that reinforcement, sometimes not having that male figure, they're present. And I'm not saying because of all of that, but I think part of it, I was kind of misunderstood because I am an introvert. So I wasn't that social butterfly. So I had a hard time kind of fitting in social settings. So I really had to develop. And I think what kind of brought me out of that is my career. I'm a social worker.
Right. Yeah. You talked about that set.
Yeah. So I'm a social worker. So I think with that, it kind of brought me out a little bit in terms of, having that extrovert part of me.
Right.
Because little did I know, being a social worker, you have to go and speak, engage with people, and do all those different things.
Right.
So I think that was a turning point in my life. And people always ask me, how did I choose social work? And I tell people that I didn't choose social work. Social work chose me.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Because I come from a helping family. My family's always helping someone. My mom always cooking for somebody, feeding the block, feeding the family. We just natural born helpers. Wow. So it just kind of innate in me. I remember one time growing up, because my dad, he just had a softie for anything, any animal, whatever. One day we coming home, my dog saw this stray dog, brought this stray dog home. off the street, my mom was livid, but that was the type of person he was, so we just, we help anything, anybody.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like that's where you get most of your qualities from,
Yeah.
your
Mm-hmm.
family and
My
siblings?
family, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going back to Chicago, how has Chicago influenced your work, creativity, and business endeavors as an author?
Oh, wow. I think because I was able to draw from my own life experiences.
Yeah.
Again, being an introvert, I'm able to relate to people who feel like they don't have a voice. Because for a long time, I felt like I didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I had very supportive family and I had friends, but I feel like I didn't really have a voice because I didn't know how to use my voice.
Mm.
Because back then too, coming up, a child should be seen and not heard.
Yes, I've heard that a lot recently. Yeah.
So coupled with that, and also to being shy, didn't know how to engage, I guess, until I got older. I feel like I didn't have a voice. So, because with my books, it's about how do you find your voice?
Yeah.
How do you live in gratitude? How do you change your mindset? So, I think that was part of my creativity. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
business minded.
Yeah. So I come because we always own. When I was coming up, we owned back then they called it record shop. Okay, they called it. They went from record shop to music store. To I guess we don't have them anymore, right?
No, I don't think you see too many nowadays.
Right. So back, so I come from a family of entrepreneurs. We used to have like a local grocery store. So I think
as a family.
Mm-hmm, as a family. So I think what I'm trying to say. I think part of unconsciously, I have the business savvy.
Yeah.
Again, not thinking about it, but when I think about it, okay, that's where I get my entrepreneur from.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As I got older, I didn't see it then, but I definitely see it now.
Yeah.
So it's always in me to have that hustle, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to what you said as this phrase, I said it on the last show, that life is lived forward but understood backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really understand in the moment, but once you grow older, once you start experiencing life, you can sit back and reflect and be like, man, I did a lot and I accomplished a lot. So no, you're absolutely right about that. This Chicago vein, are there any cultural traditions or community events you grew up with that are uniquely Chicago? What was that cultural community like?
You know what? Okay, that's a good question. And I think with that, talking about Black owned, there was a lot of Black, again, looking back respectively, there was a lot of Black owned businesses.
Yeah.
A lot of Black owned entertainment. So that's all I kind of grew up with. I had that roadmap, I had that model set before me. And again, not paying any attention because I'm thinking that's just a way of life until I got older.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of culture, in terms of our identity. So I was taught to be proud of who I was.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That I can do anything, I can be anybody growing up. Now that kind of got lost and translated. As you get older, you get into the real world.
Of course. Start becoming an adult.
Becoming an adult. And I kind of changed a little bit, but I had that example. I had that foundation. So I was able to kind of reach back to that. So I'm kind of glad I had the upbringing, in terms of music, entertainment, just all those things were very rich coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, the arts.
Yeah, I heard a lot about the arts in
the
Chicago.
Arts, everything. So that was at my disposal. Again, not really understand the richness of that
at the time.
At the time, I wish I can go back so I can appreciate a little bit more.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. You as an author, it's a twofold question.
Okay.
What inspired you to start writing, and when did you know you wanted to become an author?
Okay, and actually, I'm gonna answer the first one.
Okay.
First, the last question first, because I didn't know I wanted to become an author. One day I was driving and God spoke to me like, you know what? He said, we have lost the essence of being our brothers, sisters, and keeper. So I wanted to write something to have a life. How do we live a life poured out? How can we pour into other people with our time, our money, our talent? How can we give back?
Yeah.
So initially I was going to write a book, 101 Ways to Pour into someone's life, right? But I didn't want it to be all about me. So I started asking other people, how did other people start pouring into your life?
Wow, I like that.
So that became my first book. But I heard this I heard this song one day, and it was really saying, God, pour into me so I can pour into others. So that was kind of like the catalyst for me to start writing.
Wow.
So it was all about how can we pour back into other people, and I wanted to hear other people's stories, and then from there was a call to action. And how can you pour back into other people's lives?
Wow.
So that's how this whole thing with author, writing got started.
Wow. Wow.
And what was the other question?
What inspired you to start writing?
So that's kind of inspired me to start writing. And then from there, it just kind of took off, so I was, pouring out. And then again, going back to my childhood, because again, I grew up being bullied.
Wow.
Because I was introverted. I didn't know how to like socialize. I didn't know how to interact. So people took that as, oh, she's better than us. And then my mom used to make all our clothes coming up. Okay.
Oh wow, that's different. That's interesting.
Yeah. So my mom used to make me and my sister clothes coming up. So of course I didn't have this. It was different because my mom made our clothes. So it was all that all that intertwined that I was bullied. And so with that, I didn't have a voice. So my next book was Living Your Authentic Self. So my authentic self, like and I want other people to know how you can live your authentic self.
Yeah.
How do you come from that? How do you get out of that? And you just have to be yourself.
Yeah.
And let people know that you're not alone. Because for a while I felt like I was alone, like I was the only one. I felt like I was living in this bubble. But I'm like, those other people feel like they didn't have a voice to say.
Yeah.
They really couldn't, share their dreams or goals without being ridiculed.
Wow.
So that kind of hit the catalyst too, in terms of living your authentic self.
Wow.
How to be true to yourself. And it was only that I was able to do that when I found my voice within God, because He created me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. He created me to be the head and not the tail. I'm His daughter. So only when I found God in my life that I felt like I was really being my authentic self, because I wasn't trying to live for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you lose your voice and you're trying to live up, you never can live up because you can't please everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that.
100%. And so until I realized I was fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and He was my only audience to please, it kind of release all this other pressure from me.
People pleasing.
Other people pleasing, right? Yeah. So that's when I was able to really live my authentic self. Wow. And I've been doing it ever since. Thank you very much.
Been doing it ever since, huh?
Yeah. Of course you weave in and out of that, but for the most part, but once I realized that my identity was rooted in Him, because I think that's the main thing. We have to realize that identity is rooted in Him. That's just for me. So once I realized that, it just took off the pressure. It released the scales off me, like you said, the people pleasing and all the other things that come along with it.
Yeah, that weight of trying to carry and people please. Yeah.
Whether it was in family, work, particularly in a work setting. You know what I mean? So when I realized that, it was on then.
Yeah. Smooth sailing.
Yeah.
I got you. Prior to becoming an author, what were some other things you wanted to do if it had not been becoming an author?
Well, actually, I am a licensed clinical social worker by trade, and so I really draw from that too.
Yeah.
Dealing with mental health, dealing with stress, dealing with self-care. I've seen so many people who are so burnt out. I was burnt out, as a worker, because social work is very, can be very taxing at times.
I've heard from people in that field.
So that's some of my inspirational writing too. Like, how do you have a reset? How do you realign your life? How do you live in gratitude?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Being an author, do you feel a responsibility to represent women in a certain way through your writing? Do you feel that pressure?
I don't feel in terms to represent, but to help them understand they're not alone. Okay? Because I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. I'm a first lady.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. So I understand the pressure of trying to juggle it all.
Yeah.
And I once heard somebody say that made sense to me, and I try to live by that, even though it doesn't work all the time, that you can have it all, but not all at the same time.
Yes, I've heard that before too. Yeah,
but we try to have it all at the same time. But part of my writing, living in gratitude, unplugging, exhaling, because when my son was younger, and again, because I have 3 bonus children, and my youngest one, Casual, he was living at home with us. And I was taking him back and forth to, piano lessons and so forth. But I was so busy trying to get back to work, get back to my to-do list, I missed out on some pivotal times, some precious times. You know what I'm saying? That's the time I could have been connecting with him.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because they grew up so quickly. 1 minute they 13, next minute they 20. You're like, you're like, okay, no, what happened? So I realized that, you know what, I need to slow down.
Yeah.
I need to reevaluate what I'm doing, reevaluate my values. So I think most women can relate to that, because they so busy trying to get from point A to point B, not knowing that, you know what, little Johnny, little Susie gonna grow up. So you need to spend as much time with
as
them.
You can with them.
Time with them. I know what, it's nothing being wrong being ambitious, having setting goals, whatever. But how do we prioritize that?
I like that.
And again, how do we live in gratitude?
Yeah.
Like, okay, oh man, I gotta cook dinner tonight. No, this is time to connect with family. Yes, look at your cooking. You know what? I can make a meal for my family.
Wow.
This is a time for us to bond, to talk, to be together.
Yeah.
So it's about, how do we reframe our thoughts?
Yeah.
How do we transform our mind? How do we have a different mindset?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say that. I think it's been hard for a lot of us, considering, post-COVID, it had all of us in the house confined and all that. And so now that everybody is out, it's kind of hard. It makes it hard for people to kind of engage and socialize. So no, you're right. It's definitely needed.
Yeah. We forget sometimes.
Yeah.
We definitely forget. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, even though COVID was a hard thing, because so many people passed away, but it did bring families together.
Yeah.
Because everybody had to live under one roof.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We couldn't go out. See them every day. The good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? But it brought us closer together.
Yeah.
And we always have to just keep that in mind. What's important? Because I'm believing living within your values, and your values going to be totally different. In your 20s and 30s, you should be, inspiration in terms of your career. You want to succeed in life. You want to live life. You don't have no kids. You're not married. But when you do get married, okay, now what are your values?
What do I prioritize now?
Okay, when the kids are gone, now what are your values? You're a grandparent now. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be evolving.
Yeah, I agree. Transition into this book right here.
Okay.
The 21-Day Gratitude Journal for Busy Women. What was the backstory in putting this book together?
And again, the backstory was that, well, one thing, it takes 21 days to change a habit.
Yeah.
Okay, most people say. So again, the backstory was, how do I live in gratitude? Because again, not only with my son, but with my family, I love family. Everybody know me. I love family. I love connecting with family. I love spending time with family. But sometimes when you're with family, your body is there, but your mind is not. Your mind is on.
Yeah, all over the place. No, that's absolutely true.
I gotta go and finish this project at work. I got to go shopping because they need X, Y, and Z. All these different, again, women, because we always multitask.
Yeah.
So the 21-day gratitude, how do we live in the moment? And then also it's about, how do you reimagine your life? How do you redefine your life? And how do you reconnect with your life? So that was behind the 21-day gratitude.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, just it's a couple.
Go ahead. Yeah, so it's your show.
So the book is really set up on whereas, okay, it's a questionnaire about gratitude, because you have to figure out where you are, where are you at with gratitude.
Yeah.
How can you be thankful? And understand the benefits, because living in gratitude not only for our mental health, but also our physical health too.
Yes.
Because when you live in gratitude, you sleep better, you eat, have more positive outcome, all those different things, but you have to be in that state of mind. Yeah. And how do you live out your values as well?
I love it.
So one of the things in my my 21-day gratitude is, one of the topics is positive vibes. Okay. And it says, set the vibe in your life. It's hard to be both complaining and content at the same time. While it may prove difficult to understand why something is happening, you can learn to be positive no matter where you are and what's going on. So you can't complain and be content at the same time.
Y'all heard it. Facebook family.
Yeah,
I hope y'all heard that.
And even though it may be difficult to figure out why this is happening in my life,
yeah,
again, how can you still have a positive outcome?
Yeah.
And how can you still be positive through that process? So then I have a call to action here. How can you find a positive outlook during your unforeseen circumstances? Because stuff's gonna happen sometime that blindside us, that we didn't see coming.
And we see coming, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
You know, some things we see coming, some things we
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how can you still see the good? Because the Word of God said in everything. I didn't say for everything, but in everything, give thanks.
Give thanks. Yeah.
And that's hard sometimes.
Yes, it is.
You have to deal. You have to dig real deep.
You're right, Mr. Long. You're right.
You have to dig real deep sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what God called us to do, because He always wants us to give thanks. Because sometimes what we're going through now, you don't see it until later. Why that happened.
Right.
And it's to strengthen us or to prepare us. Because if we can get through whatever we're going through now, if something happened later on, we have that spiritual strength to get through it.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love it. In your own words, what does gratitude mean to you personally?
Gratitude for me is one, living in the moment, and also two, living in abundance what God has given you.
Yeah.
You know, because gratitude does not mean that I'm smiling and happy all the time. So let's clear that right now.
Clear it up.
I'm not walking around bubbly all the time. That's not what gratitude's all about. But it's about thankfulness.
Yeah.
You know, when you wake up in the morning and you can breathe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and also too, looking at the positive versus the negative.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna have our moments, right? Yeah. But it's about a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, it's the cup half empty or half full. I always choose to, truthfully, it's always half full. You know, even though I might not feel that way sometimes, just to be transparent. Yeah. But if you consciously say, this is how I'm going to approach this, believe me, at all times, you're going to find something that, you can take away from it. Because I'm always looking for a lesson.
A lesson, yes.
It's always a lesson to be learned in something that you do.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, you might not want to learn that lesson. It might be a hard lesson, but that's what gratitude for me is.
Yeah.
How can I be in that moment? How can I be thankful?
Wow.
And how can I live in abundance of the blessings that I have? Because just getting up, right there,
is a blessing in itself.
In itself.
You breathing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. For me, man, I would say another form of gratitude is having peace even when you're in a chaotic situation.
Yes.
Even when the situation has completely changed, you still have peace in it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's part of it too. Yeah. And gratitude is going to be different for each person. So there's no like one, definition.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said what your gratitude was, because I think wherever your gratitude is, that's what you need to lean into. You know what I mean? Because you can't lean into other people's gratitude, because that might not work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Personally.
But if you have your own definition of gratitude, take hold of that, and let that be, and operate from that premise.
Yeah,
because you can't go wrong at that point.
I totally agree. I agree. Everything don't work for everybody.
No, but people try to make a one fit all, and it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about some of your other books. What's this book here?
So my latest book is Unplug and Excel.
Okay.
It's a 60-day devotional for busy women seeking faith, balance, and gratitude. And I'm not trying to be biased here, but again, women, we do so much. So we have to unplug and exhale.
Yeah.
And part of this unplugging and exhaling it's more than the physical sense of it, but also too from the spiritual sense, because we do try to do it all. Even married or a single mom or divorcee, whatever, we forget that we have someone else, our Heavenly Father, to help us. Because the part of exhaling is to surrender to God and say, God, I'm going to let you lead me, guide me. A lot of times we have to lean into Him. which we don't do a lot because we feel like we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to carry the load ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't have to. So unplug and exhale is really about how do we lean into God and how do we realign our lives? Again, how do we find faith? How do we find balance? And how do we begin to trust Him? And this here is more of a devotional.
Okay.
So it has scriptures, it has the topic for the day, and also too, it has again a devotion for the day, scripture, and then a prayer.
Okay.
Can I read a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like day 3, it says, "No stress, just rest. Come unto me, all thee labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. And the devotion for today, and the title is Soul Renewal to Start Your Day. So you're going to see that every day. And it said, let's face it, life be life in that time. Dedicate some me time to reset. Our bodies weren't built to run on empty. You wouldn't let your phone hit 1% without charging it, right? So why do we treat ourselves any differently?
Whew, that's good.
Whether stretching, taking a walk, soaking in a bath, or just sitting in silence, give yourself permission to revitalize. God created rest for a reason.
Yes.
He created rest for a reason.
A reason.
So then the prayer is, Lord, help me to listen to my body, honor the need for rest, refresh me so I can move forward in strength. In Jesus' name, amen. Then I always have a gratitude takeaway. And a gratitude takeaway is you can't pour from an empty cup.
Man, I've been saying this. Online community, I've been saying this for the past couple of months. My sister Rita can attest to this. I've been saying this so well. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Unplug, recharge, and let God restore your mind,
yes,
your body, and your soul.
Your soul.
Yes.
That's a great one. That's a great devotion.
And then they have it for Mommy Sean. Then they can, if they want to jot down their thoughts from that devotion, then they can write down some thoughts from that.
I got you. That's wow. That's good. How can the people that's watching find your books? What platforms are you on? How can they get in contact?
So my book's on 2 platforms. One is on my website. It's www.yolandawsmith.weebly.com. Again, www.yolandawsmith.weebly.com. You can also too find me on Amazon as well.
Gotcha. Oh, you on any social media platform?
Oh yes. Oh, for sure. Oh, that's right. My social media platform, you can find me on Instagram, author Yolanda. And on Facebook, author Yolanda Wilson Smith, no hyphen. So author Yolanda Wilson Smith on the social media platform as well.
Y'all heard it. Go patronize, go follow. She has some great materials for y'all. I know you've written 6 books total, right? Or published 6
Pretty
books?
much, yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
What are some of your other books that you want to?
The other books, again, Being Your Authentic Self. And I want to be, even before I get into that, most of my books, and I purposely do this, it's an easy read. Yeah. So it's nothing really hard about the book because I'm not trying to make it late because we're busy, right? Yeah. so I'm not trying to make it labor intensive. It's easy read, but because the easy read, they thought provoking.
Yeah.
I want the books to be reflective and take time to do it, and I want you to be able to read it, meditate, and reflect. So my other book is Being My Authentic Self. And again, that's about how can you, again, be your authentic self. It's really talking about how do you live within your values, how do you shift your mind, how do you find your voice. And I did one for teenagers as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
So, and I tell people, as you learn as you go, I like the one I did for teenager, but now since I looked at some other books, I want to go and revise it because I want to really make it more that teenager focus, even though I got a lot of good reviews from teenagers.
Wow.
But they gave me some feedback. Okay, it needs to be a little bit more girly. So I'm going to go back and revise it and make it a little bit more girly. And then I had another book is 50 Ways to Live More Authentically. Because how do we live more authentically?
Yeah.
Okay, so one, I'm going off memory here, but one principle is you have to face that where you at in life. Okay. At this point, if you're talking about being a pilot, it's not gonna happen. I'm just saying. But you have, because you have to be honest with yourself where you are in life.
Gotta be honest.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But again, how can you live more authentically? Okay, maybe volunteer, or do some, or maybe or find another way to live out your life dream.
Yeah, I like that.
But at the same time, don't listen to naysay. If you want to be a pilot, fine. But if these are the qualifications, and you pass that, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we have these dreams and the things we want to do, but there's other ways to fulfill those dreams.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I don't know you hear like sports people who was playing football, basketball, they got injured, something happened, they had to stop, and they had to pivot. So that's what I'm trying to say. So sometimes you have to pivot in life.
I like that. Yeah.
You can still be your authentic self and still live out your dreams, but sometimes we have to pivot in life.
Yeah.
To get to where you want to go.
Yeah. Now it's funny you say that. My dream was always to be one of the world's greatest dancers, to be traveling with the Chris Browns of the world, and me and Trap, but that didn't happen, and God had to pivot my life. So I definitely can agree with what you're saying. I had to accept that. And so no, you're absolutely right.
Because in accepting that, then you can be your authentic self. Because then once you pivot, because I always wanted to be a model.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, that's I think my first time ever saying that publicly like that. But I still feel like he's still put me in a platform to be in the public because it's not modeling.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
But I still feel like I'm living my authentic life as well.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be the next Jane Kennedy. That's from some old school people like, who's Jane Kennedy? But look her up.
I'm gonna look her up.
Because she was a top model back then. So I thought I was gonna be the next Jane Kennedy. Me and myself anyway.
That's funny. That's funny. So I was looking at your bio and I saw something that was very, very interesting. So I work with seniors too. So I'm over programmer who, so I have different things that I do with senior facilities and different activities we do. But I saw in your bio, and I want you to share with us your experience teaching self-publishing classes with the 55 and up senior program at TCC Southeast Campus. What has that been like?
I love it. Can I speak to the camera?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love it because it lets you know you're never too late in life. And I like it because you have to be over 55 to teach the class. So,
gotcha.
So they can relate. And I love it because people have a story within them. They're like, what is your story? So they want to tell their story, and I want to help them to tell their story.
Wow.
So I take them through a step-by-step how to publish their own book.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
And some of them feel like, oh, I can't do it. It's too late. No, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever genre you want to write in, whatever you want to do, you can definitely do it. So I love teaching a self-publishing class. I teach them the platforms, how to copyright, all the ins and outs, and how to publish their books.
Wow. How long have you been doing that?
So at TCC, I've been doing it for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last 3 years. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Moving forward in this publishing space, what are publishers really looking for when it comes to reading a manuscript? What do you think publishers mainly look for?
A good story, and when I say a good story, it has to come from the heart, come from you, because I'm not the only one who wrote a book on gratitude.
Right.
Okay, I'm not a person I'm not the only person who wrote a book on self-help, but it's a book for everybody. It's like terms of bread. You got you got Sara Lee's bread. You got and everybody have their own preferences for the type of bread that they like, right? Yeah. So, but the thing about it, that's their brand. So, what is your brand?
Yeah, I like that.
And your brand is not like the book cover, and your brand is who you are as a person, because that person has to connect with you. It's something within you to help you connect with their audience.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. It's the manuscript, yes, but the manuscript have to come authentically from you, from the heart. I always tell people you have to write from the heart.
Yeah.
Not like a head space, but from a heart space.
Wow. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Going back to the seniors and working with them, how often do you meet with them?
We have a session about 4 or 5 weeks, for a couple of hours.
Wow.
Okay. So I take them through again. The whole process. I'm trying to think of all the different things that we do. And again, because I have a PowerPoint,
right?
and I just take them through each one, like the pros and cons in terms of self-publishing, traditional publishing. So even though I self-publish, I realize someone traditional publish, and I take them through the pros and cons of that.
Wow. Let's stay right there. What's the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing?
Well, self-publishing, you have more control over your manuscript.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and in traditional publishing, sometimes they have to approve what you wrote. Sometimes they want to rewrite it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's hard.
Yeah. So, and sometimes it's hard because you're trying to enter into a space where they're working with someone, they might feel like they have a better manuscript. Yeah. So, in terms of self-publishing, you're doing everything yourself. You have control of your writing, when it's published, how much you want to charge for it. So you just have more creative control.
Yeah, creative control. I like that.
Yes.
What about on the traditional side of it? Is it just mainly that company that runs?
It's not. I mean, you have some control, but I think they want to gear it towards the bestseller.
Gotcha.
So your bestseller may not be what you wrote.
Wow.
They might have to enhance it a little bit, or they may want you to change certain things. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Yeah, but the thing about writing, you want to stick to your own authentic voice.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you change, and then it's not you anymore.
It's not you anymore.
Then it's not then that's not your brand anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
So, and it's a little bit more costly too, because and to their point, to traditional, they're doing everything for you. Okay, so you don't have to worry about trying to get the book cover. All these other things that you have to do yourself, because, or try to find someone to edit, because when you self-publish, you got to find your own editor, what I'm saying? The proofread, so you're doing everything yourself.
Right.
Versus a traditional book company, they're doing all those things for you. So, yeah. So it is some advantages and disadvantages to both.
Yeah. Which one would you say would be more cost efficient?
Self-published. Yeah, it's more labor intensive, but you know what? I want, because I self-publish. I'm gonna take anything from my journey because I learned so much through the process.
Yeah.
I learned the ins and outs. I learned the highs and lows. Yeah, so I won't take anything back, because that's why I'm able to teach the class now, because I'm teaching them from my own experience and from my own setbacks. From it. Yeah, some things I had to learn.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool. In regards to publishing, how long does a typical publishing process take from acceptance to publication? How long is that?
Well,
what would you say?
It depends on you, and it really does, because I'm just gonna use my last book here. So I started writing, and actually the book's supposed to have been out like last year, but life be life, and sometimes life be life, and sometimes
yes it do. Yes it do.
So it took me about a year, just because, again, things came up. But once I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to get this done. So now you have to figure out the book cover, because you want a nice book cover, because you know what, you won't get a chance. Somebody look at that book cover, you know what, it might be all good material on the inside of that book, but they look at the book cover and they're not feeling it. They're not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
So you always want a nice book cover. Then go from the book cover. You want to make sure that you know what, I have read some of the most renowned authors, whatever, and you still might find a grammar tool here that they missed, but you want to make sure that your book is pretty much grammar free.
Yeah.
The structure, everything is there, your manuscript, the uploading and all that. So I would say, if you just diligently work on it, it can take like maybe a 6 to 9 month process, because you're going to get the book, you're going to see some changes you want to make to it.
Right.
When you read it, the typesetting might not be right, or you want to change something within your book cover. So I would say, and I tell people, do not rush the process, because you want a quality book.
Yeah.
Right.
Quality is everything.
Quality is everything.
Yeah.
So, but I would say about 6 to 9 months. Even it might be even shorter, but I would just say that process, just because most people who self-publishing, they still working. They got families.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Other responsibilities.
So other responsibilities. So it's not like someone who is a writer and that's what their main job is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it may be shorter, but most time people self-publishing, they have other obligations and other responsibilities. That's why I say between 6 to 9 months.
Gotcha. Also, how do you know when a book is finished and ready to be published? How do you manage that space?
After I gave about 5 people to read it.
Okay.
You know what? You have to let other people read your book, because I have people read my book for content. I have my people read my book for, like, grammar. Does it make sense? Is it relatable? So you have to have, you just can't have the book and say, okay, it's done. Because it may make sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to the reader, to the audience that you're trying to convey it to.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah. So I have other people to read my book for different reasons. I have one person, she's good with content. So she'll tell me, no, this is not, this don't make sense. So you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, taking that corrective criticism is needed.
Because that's what you want. Yeah. Again, because you want a polished book.
Yeah.
Right. Because you want to be able to relate to your audience, whoever your audience is. Yeah. My audience, not everybody. Most people already know that my audience is women, and pretty much women from 30 on up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because at 20 and 25, they ain't trying to unplug and exhale. They're trying to live life. But you have to understand your audience.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna do a book signing with some teenagers. You know what I'm saying? They were like, unplug, and they said, "What is that?" So you have to. So I tell people that, because sometimes people get disappointed because they don't understand who their audience are. They try to be everything to everybody. And you can't be everything to everybody.
That's good.
Now, you might buy my book just because I'm going to buy it for my sister, or I won't go to patronize you, but I know you're not my audience. You know what I mean? But you might buy, like, oh, I think my wife might like this, my sister might like this, my cousin might like this. But I'm not going to go to a men conference trying to sell my book. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what happens with a lot of people sometimes, because they're trying to be everything to everybody, and you can't.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Have you done any, I guess, like writing workshops to, I guess, help people who want to become authors and writers? Have you hosted any workshops, conferences?
Again, not outside of my, well, it's formal and informal. Okay, so so formally it's the 55 and older group, and informally I have helped a lot of people to who want to be writers, to help them to write and to publish. Sandra Stanley, she always say I'm her mentor. And I know, and then again too, living authentically, you have to know your space. So I love helping people write, whatever. But I know for me is that I want to help women, and whatever that may be, whatever setting that may be.
Yeah.
So what I call myself, like a self-publisher, guru, whatever. No, but I know how to get your books on the shelf. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Another one for you, and make sure y'all listen to you on this question. For you, what should authors look out for in a publishing contract? What are some things that they should look out for?
Oh, that's a good question, because when you self-publish, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
But in a contract, though, and I'm just kind of going off the cuff here a little bit, you want to know if there's any hidden fees, or do you have control? No, because a lot of times, if it was me going from a traditional route, I want to be able to have control over my books, and then do I have to pay into a royalty every time I order a book? Or can I buy this book at cost?
Yeah.
And how many can I buy at cost?
At cost, yeah.
Right. So because at the bottom line, you want to keep that cost as low as possible. So because at the end of the day, you do want to make a profit. You are in the marketplace.
Yeah.
You're not trying to become rich, but you are in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can be able, to go out and share your messaging.
I agree.
And that takes money to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think people need to understand that. So you just want to read the fine lines and what they really getting from that, and how much creative control do you have if you decide to go traditionally.
Wow. Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Also in your bio, you are a inspirational public speaker. I picked it up on there when you were part of the Black Arts, and then even on Saturday at the gala. I know that you're definitely confident in what you're sharing. So for you, let me make sure. As an inspirational speaker, how do you tailor your messages in regard to speaking in different audiences? How do you tailor when you get on stage?
I tailor it based on their theme, but at the end of the day is, again, it's based on the theme of where I'm going, of the platform.
Yeah.
But I tailor it in terms of trying to inspire women, because at the end of the day, I want women to feel better. right? I want them to feel confident because I haven't always felt that way. Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. Yeah, introvert.
To be totally transparent.
Yeah.
So I want them to feel encouraged that they don't have to do it alone, that they have a support system. It may not be me, but you have someone that you can reach out to. You know, that you're not doing this by yourself. I want them to know that you're not the only one feeling this way.
Yeah.
That you can make it. Yeah. So I think that's I try to create community.
Yes.
At the end of the day, this is all about having community.
Yeah.
So we can reach out to each other and be each other's resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever theme I'm talking about, that there's a community out here.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Community is everything. You mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Can't pour from an empty cup. So you definitely need people, man, in your circle, you know, that you can trust and have the ability to pour into you. So yeah.
And then and also too, to lean, you know, to the spiritual side of you. I'm not telling people, you know, what to believe in, but whatever you believe in, you have to pour into that spiritual side of you as well.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, definitely, you know, God, whatever, and, you know, leaning to Him and guiding, directing, and again, and knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people feel so alone.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're not alone.
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
You heard her. You are not alone. You're not alone. That's absolutely true, because you can be in a room full of people but still feel alone.
Yeah.
Still feel isolated. So I totally agree with that. Yeah. In regards to your public speaking, what role does storytelling play in your public speaking? Do you use a lot of storytelling to enhance the audience?
I do. And it's funny that you mention that, because, again, I'm going back to the day and bring it to present. So back in the day when I was coming up, you know what? Your business you keep your business at home. You don't go out telling your business, right?
No,
what happened in this house stays at home, right?
Wisdom.
But as you get older, again, you begin to shift, because by people doing that, you feel like you're alone, and you are not. So I think it's important you have to set some boundaries what you say, but you have to tell your story. You know, let people know that you're not. That's why they call these bestsellers out there. I'm like, oh, people telling their stories. I'm like, okay, when did this start happening? You know? You know, but you know, you can relate, because people want somebody they can relate to.
Yeah.
So I do like to tell a lot of my story, and people know I am pretty much transparent.
Yeah.
You know, because I want people to know that, again, they're not alone. They don't have to live in these silos. You know, and that could be for anybody, man, woman, boy, or girl.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, because the parents say, I've been a teenager before, but what did that mean? You know, I never know what that meant, you know, until I got older. But explain to me what it meant that I was a teenager before. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they should have said, well, I understand that you know, you're going through this, so I understand, you know, you're going to have these feelings, you're going to have these thoughts, you're going to have these failures, you're going to have these setbacks. The only thing was this one word, I've been there before. Okay, I don't know what that means. You know, so I think in storytelling, telling your story, they can relate.
Yeah.
That, okay, yeah, she really been there before. Because that sounds exactly like me.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What advice would you give to someone who wants to make public speaking a career for them? What advice would you leave?
I believe that with, you know what, just start volunteering. You know, the opportunity to speak somewhere, start small, because again, somebody like me, introvert, you know, you know what, don't go on a big platform, you know, and want to start. No, because what happened is you want to do these things and you get up there, you're not prepared. So I say prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah. So if it's an opportunity at your church, speak. You know what I'm saying? So just start small, you know, small engagements, you know, little things, and then just kind of build up to that. You know, and just practice. Yeah. Get in that mirror. I used to hate to look at myself in the mirror, you know, to practice, but look in that mirror and just practice your speech. You know, prepare like you're going to be speaking for something. If it's just a welcome, go ahead and do that welcome.
And practice,
you know, whatever it is, but just practice and figure out what platform that you want to have.
I love it.
You know, and do research. So I always tell people, okay, you say you want to speak, but what platform do you want to speak from?
Yeah.
Any platform you want to speak from is okay, but make sure you have the knowledge too, because that's build your confidence. Because if you're trying to speak from a platform you haven't done any research on, and people start questioning you on that, and you can't give an answer, then you're gonna feel like I can't do it. Not saying you're gonna have all the answers, but when you start doing research, at least you have some knowledge and where to go back to. Like we were talking earlier, I learned so much, doing the podcast. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna refine and retune it.
I love it.
But you have to have a platform that you're speaking from, and you have to do a lot of research.
Wow, I love it. Well said. Well said. You remember some of your earlier speaking engagements, and how did the audience respond afterward?
Yes, sometimes I went to Plunkerville, and that's part of it.
Yeah, that's part of the growth.
That's part of the growth, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because you have to know that no one come out the gate. I don't care who you are. They come out the gate and they up here. I don't care the most successful person you have seen. They had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But I have had, by me being a first lady, I have had some other speaking engagement before because I'm a social worker by trade. So I have to do a lot of training.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have to do a lot of training. So my platform was trainings initially, not speaking. So speaking and training is two different things.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can talk about play therapy all day. I can talk about kids all day because that's what I did. I can talk about counseling all day, mental health. But when you have to go into a speaking and you have to tailor that, that's a little bit different.
Yes.
So you really have to know how to connect with the audience. So when I started speaking, even though I did training, I knew how to connect with the audience because that was my forte. That was my platform.
Yeah.
So now I'm switching to like speaking to an audience. How do I engage the audience, not to isolate the audience, but to bring them in? Yeah. And so maybe the first couple of times I didn't know how to bring them in. You know what I mean? But after that, I learned. Yeah. So that's why you saw me at the gala. Breathe in. Breathe out.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
So again, because I want to talk about unplug and exhale.
Yeah.
So I really learned how to play on words, how to engage, how to relate. So now I can do the training and I can do the speaking. Even though the training, because I had to talk all the time, that part was okay because I was used to standing in front of people. But again, I had to learn that each platform is a little bit different.
They are. Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true. Outside of being this author, being a speaker, being a mother, first lady, all of that, what are some other projects or business endeavors that we can look forward to from you?
Oh, wow. You asked me. I think some more endeavors. I guess, speaking of speaking, more speaking engagement.
Speaking engagement.
Because I do want to, because my heart is for women. So I do want to have more speaking engagement, just really just talking about how to unplug, how to lean into God, how to live in faith, how to live in gratitude. You can be looking more for like workshops, retreats. So I want to be planning a retreat.
Okay.
For women as well. That. And I have done seminars before in the past. So I'm going to be putting together more seminars. For women. That. Yeah. Because again, it's how to build community.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to begin to, widen that, community. Because once you widen the community, then you can start your own community. I don't want to build a community so you can stay within my community. I want to build a community so you can go out and make your own.
Branch out.
And branch out and make your own community. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
I love that. Transition for you. How supportive has your husband and stepchildren been on your journey as this writer?
Oh my God. This can be all day. Yeah. Because when I tell you that my family, my husband particularly, has been so supportive. You saw he was there Saturday. Look, with the pink coat on, right? He has been so supportive. He pushes me. He encouraged me. As busy we may be, whatever, he realized this is a passion for me.
Yeah.
This is a calling for me. So he let me live out my passion, my calling. So my family, my husband, been super, super supportive. I could not even do what I do. I couldn't be sitting here right now. Because sometimes the cooking don't get done. Okay, because I can't do it all. I can do it, but all that time.
That's good.
The cooking may not get done. I might have to pick up something to eat.
That's okay.
And that's right, because it's a meal. It's a meal. It might be a microwave, but he's been really good. He has to really change his schedule sometimes to, if I had an engagement, to be there, with me.
I love it.
One time I had an event, we never put a tent together, right? I have to tell this story. So this is the first time and we called ourselves practicing this, right? Before we left the house. to put up this tent, right? We get to the venue. Why we about on the last one, still trying to this little person, probably no more than size 2, 4 feet tall, got have her tent up already.
Wow.
And then it's fun, but it's just the togetherness. We at the part of it, we learning together. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
And we had to go back and laugh about it. So he's there for every, he's there for me. He supported me for every event. He might not be at every event, but he supports everything that I do. So definitely can't do it. Definitely can't do it without his support for sure.
Wow.
And that's what made me go out to, confidently go out, because I know he understands and he definitely has my back and support.
Yeah. I love it. I kind of want to close with this. So you've probably seen here on the outside, we have these boards out here. We're in the process of expanding this library, Forest Hill Library District. It's been a process, shout out to 720 Architect Company. And so for you, what is your experience with libraries? And with that being said, what additions would you like to see in regards to this library, whether it be a space for women, whether it be a multi-purpose room, whatever it is, what would you like to see added on to this library?
Well, first of all, I want to say you guys do an excellent job, okay?
Of course.
Because I ain't seen too many libraries doing podcasts. So, hand clap right there, okay? But in terms of expansion, you guys already do programming. And so maybe we'll expand more out to the communities. And I think, again, because, I'm going to speak from a woman perspective, maybe having more women's group where they feel like they can have a community where they can come and talk and just kind of unwind, exhale a little bit, because I feel like a library is a safe place.
Yeah.
That's how I look at a library. I love the library, matter of fact. I still go to the library right now, even though, Google and all that stuff is fine, but it's nothing like being in a library.
Yeah.
It's something about being in a library to be able to meditate, think, ask questions, read. So maybe, have more programs maybe geared towards for women, because they just, again, they feel, I feel like they need a sense of, to breathe. I can come here and there's no expectations attached to it. Yeah. And then from an author's perspective, when time allows, maybe having like a local author collection, because again, it's hard to get into these other platforms sometimes.
I love it.
So, and that's the thing about self-publishing versus traditional, because traditional, they're going to get you into the library and all the other outlets. But self-publishing, it's hard out here. It's hard out here, y'all. So maybe just having a platform, for local authors that they can come in, check out, the book someone that wrote. But no, but other than that, I think there's more programming. I think focusing on women. Yeah.
I like that. Any closing words, closing remarks as we put a button on the show? Anything you want to share to online community?
That community is important. That you're not out here alone. Making sure that you're living in gratitude, because a lot of our thoughts are negative thoughts, but we have to turn our negative thoughts into positive thoughts, and just know that you're not alone. That someone's out there to help you. Just have to reach out and look at the glass half full and not half empty. And there's always something to be grateful for. And thank you for having
me. No problem, man. This is great, man. I had a good time, man.
I did. Oh yeah, I had a good time too. Yeah, gotta put that out there. Yeah, I had a good.
Learned a lot about you, man, and a lot of different hats and different things that you're doing. So I would say keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep moving forward. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, like my grandma would always say. But yeah, this is Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People with your host, Willie Beamen. We've definitely had a great show on today, but don't go anywhere. Next Wednesday, Facebook Live at 12 p.m., we will be bringing in another young teen phenom, Simone Taylor. She was a part of our mocktails and music. When I tell you, she can sing, she can sing, she can blow, man. She's definitely gifted for her age. So y'all don't go nowhere. Stay tuned next Wednesday at 12 p.m. as we bring in this phenomenal gift, Simone Taylor. But we'll see y'all next week. Peace.